Hey everyone, my name is Wedge. Today we're going to bring you another deck tech, but this isn't a deck for any old format. Oh no, this is a Pauper deck tech. For those who don't know, Pauper is a format that only lets you use common cards. Yeah, the only cards you can use to make your deck have to be commons, all of them without exception. Hope you're ready for a wild and ridiculously cheap ride. If you are, and if you enjoy videos like this on alternative format deck techs, hit that like button right down there. You have no idea how good it makes me feel. Pauper is a format that doesn't get nearly enough recognition. Stupidly fun and incredibly engaging, decks of all kinds can flourish in this format. Without all the brokenness of mythics, rares, and uncommons, Pauper helps players appreciate the power level of fair cards. It's honestly the best way I can describe this format. You should play it. Anywho, with that small intro out of the way, let's dive right into the first Pauper deck that I've ever built. Hope you enjoy. We're building Mono Black Control, but a common-only version, so keep that in mind when you immediately think these cards are jank. The lands are real simple, so let's cover those first. 3 Barren Moor and 20 Swamps. Yep, that easy. We like the Moor for some extra card filtering if we need it. No reason to run anything else since we're Mono Black. Pretty simple. Starting with our creatures, the bottom of our curve is 3 Cuombajj Witches, 2 black mana for a 1/3 human wizard. You can tap the Witches to deal 1 damage to target creature or player and 1 damage to target creature or player of an opponent's choice. Make sure you choose before your opponent, by the way. The card may not seem like much, but a ton of the creatures in this format have 1 toughness. So many. Plus, as you'll see, you don't much care about your own life total and none of your creatures have 1 toughness, so big whoop. This is basically a prodigal sorcerer, but cheaper, more resilient, and much less good looking. Ugh. At the 3 mana slot, we start with a full playset of Chittering Rats, 1 colorless and 2 black for a 2/2 rat. When it enters the battlefield, target opponent puts a card from their hand on top of their library. Again, might not seem like much, but it is a 2/2 so it doesn't die to our witches, and it basically puts them off a draw step. Not a complete time walk, but if they're mana screwed, it basically is. The rats are severely underrated, and don't forget that double black in the cost. It'll help a bit later on. Our other 3-drop is another playset, this time a Phyrexian Rager. 3 mana for a 2/2 horror. When it enters the battlefield, you draw a card and lose 1 life. All of the yes. This is perfect for what we're trying to do, which is basically drop stuff in the way of our opponents and draw more cards. The Rager does both of those things. It's a good filler creature. Higher up our creature curve, we find our win conditions and straight up all-stars of the deck. We're running a playset of Grey Merchant of Asphodel because, well, Gary's awesome. He was awesome in Standard, and he's awesome in Pauper. Remember our witches and rats? Yeah, the devotion is strong with this deck, and it's how we're going to both stay alive and kill our opponents. With only 1 other creature on the board, the life swing from Gary is usually enough to bring a game back into contention if you're behind. That's how strong he is, just so overpowered. The last creature in the deck is Gurmag Angler. We're running 2 of them. Some lists don't run any, but we love this gigantic zombie fish. As you'll see, the rest of the deck is made up of a lot of spells. The yard is going to get full pretty quickly, and that delve isn't going to be a problem at all. In no time, we'll be sitting pretty with a 5/5 against their 2/2s, 3/3s? Please, get on my level. Anywho, that's it for creatures, 17 in total, a bit fewer than average, but we're okay with it. The deck runs 20 non-creature, non-land cards. We'll begin with the only enchantment in the deck. We're running 2 Oubliette. This text is terrible, so I'll just read you the errata version. When it enters the battlefield, exile target creature and all auras attached to it. Note the number and kind of counters that were on the creature. When Oubliette leaves the battlefield, return the exiled card to the battlefield under its owner's control tapped with the same number and kind of counters on it. If you do, return the other exiled cards to the battlefield under their owner's control attached to that permanent. It sounds complicated, but it's basically a black Oblivion ring that lets auras and counters stay on the creature if it comes back. I don't much like that, but unfortunately, removal like this doesn't come around in Pauper very often, and we have to take it where we can get it. Regardless, this is a good card. It can deal with anything that's too big to fight on the ground, and as long as your opponent doesn't have enchantment removal readily available, it'll be around a while, which is also super good for our Grey Merchant since our friendly deadly enchantment gives us 2 more devotion. Gotta love that synergy. For additional card advantage, we're running a playset of Sign in Blood, a mainstay in black Pauper decks. It's just too good not to run. 2 mana for 2 cards. Again, your life is pretty much irrelevant most of the time, so it's okay. Plus, you'll be playing cards every turn. You need the refueling badly. This is an irreplaceable staple in the deck, trust me. Everything else in here, the last 14 cards in the deck, yeah, all of them have to do with your opponent's creatures either dying or being dead. 4 Chainer's Edict start the death party. This is simply one of the best removal spells in the format. It's cheap, it has flashback for late game value, and it doesn't target anything. It's perfect. Did I mention cheap? Right. For additional carnage, we're also running 2 Disfigure, 2 Geth's Verdict, 2 Tendrils of Corruption, and 2 Victim of Night. Each of these cards does something particularly nasty, and we want all of these effects in our deck. We don't want any one of them too much though, so a pair of each. Gotta spread the love to ourselves while killing everything else, you get the point. The last 2 cards in the deck are a pair of Unearth. So cheap, so amazing. The reason why this card is particularly good in Pauper is because so many creatures are 3 mana or less. Something that may be a restriction in more competitive formats is just straight up amazing here. The colorless cycling doesn't hurt, but let's be honest, we're sending so much crap to the graveyard, there will always be something to target with Unearth. Always. Well worth the inclusion as a 2 of. Let's go over what we've got going on. Your goal is to drop some value creatures to give board presence, rats to mess with your opponent, witches to kill their weenies, and ragers to draw you some gas. Then you just kill all their stuff all the time with all of your bazillion kill spells. Once you've done that and all the hope has left their eyes, you play Gary and win the game, mainly because they'll cry and run home to their mother. Personal experience, winning with this deck is awesome, but you destroy people mentally. It's basically the best. If you want some sideboard advice, Duress is fantastic against any spell-based matchups. Pretty easy option to bring in. Shrill is particularly wonderful against token or mass creature strategies. In a lot of cases, it'll win you those games outright. Definitely worth sideboarding a couple at least. The last big card I want to mention is Choking Sands. I found this to be awesome against annoying decks with value lands like Affinity or any kind of 3-color craziness that use the bounce lands from original Ravnica. Yeah, those were originally commons. Look out for those. Last thing, Oubliette alone is around $10, and 2 of them cost more than the rest of the deck combined. If you don't want to spend that money, you'll need a budget replacement. Pestilence doesn't do what Oubliette does, but you want an enchantment that gives you more devotion to Gary. It doesn't fit the same role and that it isn't removal, but it'll get the job done as best it can. There's really no other option for enchantments that you'd want to play. Without the Oubliette, this deck is under $20 easily, affordable for days. I think that about covers it as far as a basic overview of mono black control and Pauper is concerned. The deck has been making its rounds for a while now, so it's no big secret, but it is super fun to play. I'd suggest giving it a try if you want to try out the format, while also enjoying the fact that your deck destroys things faster than pretty much any other deck, so yeah. As always, subscribe for the latest and most reliable Magic the Gathering information you could ever need. This is the Mana Source, I'm Wedge, thanks for watching, we'll see you next time. What?